Although I've never been the type to sit about for days on a beach soaking up the sun, I do like exploring the coastline, and there are some beautiful beaches here in Scotland, some of which I've never visited. I had a week off work in September and decided to spend it exploring some of the lovely beaches in the north of Scotland. I took my bike and my kayak with me too, as I was hoping to include some cycling, swimming, kayaking and walking into my programme. I had a rough plan, but nothing fixed, because as anyone who's spent any time in Scotland will know, it pays to keep an eye out for the weather forecast and adjust accordingly. And I also wanted the freedom to spend as long as I wanted in each location. I took a lot of photos and a few videos on my trip, and I've used them to make this video, mainly as a memento for myself of what turned out to be a fantastic holiday, but also to share my photos with anyone else who knows and loves or would like to visit these wonderful places. Day 1 was a Sunday. I went to church in the morning and then visited Mum and Dad and had a nice meal with them before heading north in my little Peugeot van-like car. My plan was to sleep in the car. With the back seats out, there's room for me, my bike and my kayak. But I took my tent with me too, as another option. I headed up the A9 to Inverness, across the Keswick Bridge and then the Cromarty Bridge, seen in this photo, up through Bonner Bridge and Lairg. I saw the little house on an island on Loch Shin at Lairg, and I got some nice views of the lochs and the mountains as the sun went down. And finally I stopped for the night north of Loch Shin. I woke up in the morning to a fine day. There was some cloud, but it looked as if it was going to be nice, and after a quick breakfast I headed north through some lovely scenery, past Loch Stack, and then turned right across Laxford Bridge before stopping for a quick break and some photos at Laxford Bay. I was keen to get to my first main stop of the day, which would be at Old Shore Moor, but it was difficult not to stop and take photos on the way. I passed Kinlochbervie, and before long I had reached my first planned beach stop at Old Shore Moor. Hi there, I'm out at the beach today on the northwest coast of Scotland. It's just beautiful, you can probably see in the background. Lovely day, lovely beach, beautiful Scotland. After leaving Old Shore Moor, I drove a very short distance to Blairmore, where I parked and started the hike to Sandwood Bay. I'd been really looking forward to this, and the weather was now excellent as I started the 6.5 kilometre walk to the beach. I'm at Sandwood Beach, Sandwood Bay. It's really beautiful, gorgeous day. I'm really fortunate I've got the sun, and it's what a cracking beach it is. Hopefully you can see it behind me there. It's just gorgeous. Great day. Cheers. After a good walk back, I reached the car, and next up was Shegrich Beach, which was close by. I then retraced my journey back to the A838 at Reconich and headed north up to Balnakeil Beach. I then headed on to the last beach of the day, which was Sango Bay near Durness. It had been a great day and I thoroughly enjoyed my time exploring these beautiful beaches. I headed east for a short distance to near Smoo Cave, where I had dinner in a local hotel and recharged my laptop before driving south to Loch Sion, where I parked for the night. I woke up to this view looking across Loch Sion. It looked like it was going to be another good day. My plan for day 3 was to spend some time at Siennaven Beach on the north coast and then go hill walking in the afternoon. I got up early as I wanted to get to the beach before there were any footprints in the sand and tried to get some good photos. So after a quick bite of breakfast, I headed back north the few kilometres to Siennaven Beach. I love this beach. The rock formations and the views are stunning. Next I drove the short distance to Smoo Cave and saw the waterfall there. I had planned on going walking now, but I couldn't resist stopping at Sango Bay again as the weather was positively scorching for September in Scotland and I watched some surfers for a while. After some sandwiches for lunch, I headed off to the 2 mountains I was planning to climb. The weather was still great, but I knew there was some clouds forecast for later in the day, and ideally I wanted to get to the tops when they were still clear. My plan was to climb Cran Stachy and Ben Spione. Depending on your definition of a mountain, these could be described as the most northerly mountains on mainland Scotland. Hi there, today I'm climbing Cran Stachy. Depending on how you define your mountains, it's one of the most northerly mountains perhaps in Scotland. So gorgeous day at the moment. As you can see, the hills behind me, which looking super. There are supposed to be rain showers today, and you can see over in that direction behind me some clouds coming in, but hopefully we'll get a reasonable enough day, and I'll keep you posted as we continue up the hill. Cheers. Okay, so next up is a mountain that's a wee bit further north. You can just see the top there, Ben Spiny. So that's where I'm heading next, and yeah, check in a wee while. You can see the summit behind me there of Cran Stachy, and just heading off now to do Ben Spiny. Well, that's me back down. Just got the last wee bit on the road back to the car to do along the track to this house here. You can see the background, I think, the house and the hills in the distance, and yeah, so really good walk. Pity that the hills, or the second peak, Ben Spiny, was in the clouds, but nevertheless really good walk and plenty of sunshine for most of the time anyway. So yeah, really pleased. It was a great wander. Some good views, some good photos, I hope, and yeah, so that's us. Good show. Cheers. After getting back to the car and having a cuppa and some food, I headed south in search of a parking place for the night en route to the next beach on my list, and I found a great spot just north of Kayaking Bridge. In the morning, I woke to another fine day. The view, which I hadn't seen the night before as it was dark, was fantastic. Looking out over a small loch into the mountains of Sailgorm and Sailgarb, with Ben Ascent further east in the distance. Although I was blessed with good weather for the moment, I knew it was going to rain later in the morning and then clear up for a while in the afternoon. My plan was to go to Achmelvik Bay, so I headed south over Kayaking Bridge, along the north side of Loch Ascent and out towards the coast. Because of the weather, I decided to stop at Lochinver for oil, toilets, cuppa, to recharge my laptop, some photo editing and an early lunch while waiting for the rain to come and go. When the weather started to clear, I headed north to Achmelvik. When I arrived at Achmelvik Bay, it had cleared up sufficiently for me to get into the water in my kayak, and I had a great time in the afternoon and early evening exploring the coastline in and out of the water. Before it got dark, I headed east and then south and parked for the night near Loch Borrelin on the A837. My plan was to head across to the east coast now in order to get the best of the weather, and this proved to be a great decision. I rose early to a beautiful misty morning and travelled east as the mist rose and the sun shone brighter as the clouds dissipated the further east I travelled. Before long I'd reached Dornoch Beach, just a quick stop here to see the views and take a few photos because my main destination of the day was Port Mahomack across the other side of the Dornoch Firth. Well, as you know, I've been at some beautiful beaches on the northwest coast of Scotland in the last couple of days, and I've now come across to the east coast, and today I'm at Dornoch, and it's another beautiful day and the sun's shining and it's a beautiful beach. So I'll just show you a wee bit of the beach behind me. And just pan round and I'll show you a bit more. I crossed the Dornoch Bridge and travelled east through Tain to reach Port Mahomack. I spent most of the day here, scorching hot, and I enjoyed a great paddle in my kayak. It's such a beautiful wee village. Hi again, I'm now at Port Mahomack, and another beautiful beach here. Gorgeous conditions. It's really been so So fortunate, so blessed to have such nice weather on my holiday here, going around these various beaches. I'll just show you this one. Hopefully you'll see in the background. After spending a good few hours here, I headed south round the Cromarty Firth to Rosemarkie on the Murray Firth. Okay, so the last beach of today is Rosemarkie. It's another beautiful beach. I'll just show you around a wee bit. Maybe see in the background there. And in fact, if we just twirl all the way around, you can see the beach in the other direction, and it's really nice. So yeah, that's me visited 3 beaches on the east coast today, and yeah, we'll just that's enough for today. But so fortunate with the weather, 23 degrees. It's just smashing. It's been really great, brilliant holiday, and yeah, it was visited here with my parents on a family holiday years ago with my brother, and we played golf at Fortrose and Rosemarkie and really enjoyed it then. So yeah, it brings back good memories. But yeah, lovely spot, lovely place in Scotland again. So yep, over and out from the East Coast beaches for today anyway. It was always my intention to end my holiday on day 8 at Loch Morlich, as I was planning to compete in the Aviemore Triathlon that day. I'd arranged to meet Graham the day before, but based on the weather and where I currently was, I decided just to head south to the Cairngorms today and spend an extra day there. Graham and I were planning to kayak down a stretch of the River Spey tomorrow from Loch Inch to Aviemore. So, after getting lunch in Aviemore, I spent a while checking out where we would enter the water at Loch Inch and leave the river at Aviemore. I then headed to the Rothiemurchus estate at Loch Aneiling and spent the afternoon cycling in the Cairngorms National Park. After my cycle, I pitched my tent near Loch Morlich at a designated camp for the triathlon entrance. The next day started with lovely sunny weather, and I spent a while at Loch Morlich before heading across to Loch Aneiling. Hi again. This morning I'm at Loch Aneiling, which is not far from Aviemore. As you can see, it's a nice day again, really nice. It's a lovely loch actually. Just show you a wee bit. See. I then met up with Graham and we left a car in Aviemore and headed up to Loch Inch with our kayaks. I really enjoyed this paddle. A good mixture of tranquil water and a few minor rapids to negotiate. I did manage to capsize once, bit of a schoolboy error. I went down one of the wee rapids, turned sideways at the end to look back and watch Graham come down behind me, only to realise I wasn't quite out of the turbulent flow and I ended up under. But after emptying my boat, we continued on. I really appreciated Graham coming up to meet me to do the kayaking and to support me in the triathlon the following day. So day 8, the final day of my holiday, was spent swimming, cycling and running in the Aviemore triathlon. The weather was ideal really, not for the spectators, as there was some light rain and a chilly wind, but it suited me perfectly. I'm always slow in the swim, so I have to do a lot of catching up on the bike and then try to hold my position in the run. I really enjoyed the event, which this year counted as the Scottish Cross Triathlon Championships. I was pleased with my time, and I got a little bonus later of a nice medal for being third of the Triathlon Scotland members in my age group. So I headed home, refreshed, having enjoyed a brilliant holiday. I had visited 13 beaches, kayaked on the west coast, the east coast and the River Spey, climbed 2 of the most northerly mountains in mainland Scotland, cycled in the Cairngorms National Park and completed a triathlon. Scotland is a beautiful country and I'm really blessed to live here and to be able to enjoy being out and about in these wonderful places. I hope you've enjoyed this video.